if I started to draw next year, here's everything I would do to make sure I get the best possible start to my art journey. Think of learning art like a video game. These are the early game quests that you want to make sure you clear to successfully complete the beginner tutorial. So by the end of this video, you'll have strong basics to build on and the right direction to keep moving forward with your art. I'm Marc. I've been doing art professionally for over 20 years and I've been teaching for over 13. And I put all of that experience into this blueprint, basically something I would have killed for when I was just starting. Except you get to skip spinning your wheels for years like I did. I think that's worth the class fee of either 1 like or 1 sub. Experts agree it's good value. All right, let's jump right in. So the very first quest in this art game, answer this question. Why are you learning art? But like, seriously, before you pick up a pencil, you need to know where you're going with it. You need the specific goal. And there's research on this too. It's science. It's been shown that people with clear goals, like meaningful goals, are significantly more likely to push through challenges and actually get good at their craft. Because usually what happens when you don't have a goal, you'll bounce around, like drawing anime one day, then the following week maybe moving on to like realistic portraits, maybe then some landscape after that. You'll just be learning random stuff with no clear direction. And that's honestly the fastest way to just burn out and quit. Your why doesn't need to be huge either. Maybe you want to create your own comic. Maybe you just want to draw cool stuff and post it online for clout. Whatever it is, just make sure that it fits what researchers call a SMART goal, aka a goal that's specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. It's a clever way to make sure that your goal isn't too big and therefore too difficult to achieve. So if the goal is to eventually draw a comic, for example, it's already something specific, it's measurable, like you need 15 pages of comics, it's attainable if you're realistic about the quality, it's relevant to artists because you'll need art skills like character design, storytelling, and anatomy, and giving yourself a deadline of something like 1 to 2 months, or maybe to submit it to a contest that's coming up, perhaps. That will make it time-bound, so you'll have to force yourself to fit that into your schedule to meet your deadline. So as long as it's an SMART goal, you should be all set to move on to the next quest. So quest number 2 is all about pen control. This is your dexterity training, something that most artists will completely skip over and really struggle with for a long time during their art journey. So if you've ever tried to draw a smooth circle and it came out looking like a potato, that's weak pen control, basically. It's the difference between your hand doing what your brain wants versus whatever that is. Getting good with a pencil is as much a mental and a physical skill. Like, you can know how to draw well, but have poor dexterity, so the execution kind of sucks. Or it can be a complete opposite as well. So the fix would be to start drawing basic shapes, lots of them. Circles, straight lines, curves, boxes. Set a timer for like 10 minutes a day maybe and just fill pages with these. I used to do this all the time when I was younger, filling pages with these kinds of exercises until I got significantly better and faster at it. In a sense, this isn't as much a quest that you complete and then you're done. It's maybe more like a daily quest, something you do a little bit of for a long time. But actually there's another method, and that would be using the lasso tool in your workflow, because that would be a fantastic way to power level your dexterity. It's hard and frustratingly slow at first, but if you'd rather not fill your sketchbook pages with lines and shapes, well, that would be the best alternative way to practice while maybe doing something a little bit more productive at the same time, or maybe more rewarding. Now, quest 3 is all about practicing form, also known as the fundamental of construction. And this is where things get really interesting, because this will unlock 3D thinking in your brain when you're drawing on a 2D surface. Everything you draw, and I mean everything, is made of simple 3D shapes. Buildings on the street, mostly simple boxes. The human body, boxes and cylinders. Robots like Gundams, still boxes, spheres, and cylinders. And here's why this matters. Right now, if I asked you to draw an arm foreshortened, probably struggle. I would likely struggle too if it wasn't for construction. But instead, if I asked you to draw just a few cylinders in perspective, well, that's way easier, right? Well, that's construction. That's what I have in mind when I draw it. So you draw the simple shapes first as sort of this framework, and then you add the details. And really, I can't say this enough, but once you start to see everything as basic forms, you'll basically be able to draw almost anything from any angle. Now you practice this by drawing specifically boxes and cylinders and spheres as well, but all from different angles. And then eventually you learn to manipulate those shapes, like twisting those volumes, stretching them, carving into them, cutting them in half. It might sound a little boring, I know, but this is legitimately one of the most important fundamentals. You just gotta keep doing it a little bit here and there, doodling in your sketchbook during those sessions when maybe you don't feel too inspired to create something new. But yeah, it's so important that I actually made a whole class about all these exercises that you can do to improve. I'll put the link in the description. So master basic forms and you've basically unlocked creative freedom. When you can draw these things from imagination, you'll be able to draw anything. Trust me, bro. And before we move on to the last 2 quests, by far the most important ones of the bunch, I actually have a side quest that you might be interested in. We actually have a special event going on right now, the big holiday sale for my entire QBrush store. So this happens once a year only, and it's happening right now. For the next couple of days and until the end of the month, you'll be able to pick up my complete art education program, Artschool for digital artists, at half the regular price. A ridiculous discount for the most popular art program out there. Students get lifetime access, free updates for life, access to our school's private Discord, and a carefully structured curriculum to take your art to the next level as fast as you possibly can. And it's the exact same program used by all these major game studios to help train their artists. So have a look at all the details with the link in the video description below. I know you won't regret it. And there's also a gift option at checkout in case you want to give the gift of learning to like your friends and family. For sure, they would love you more if you did. But yeah, if you're already a student, like I know many of you watching are, thank you so much. And let's get back to quest 4. Because this quest is where most beginner advice gets it wrong. So pay attention. Most people will tell you to learn the fundamentals first because it's important. And then you'll be able to start creating what you actually want to draw. Well, I'm telling you the complete opposite. What? Pick your dream project now and then worry about the fundamentals. And here's why this works. You need to run into problems before you learn solutions. Otherwise, the information doesn't stick. It's just going to remain abstract knowledge floating in your head before eventually getting discarded. So let's say you want to start drawing a comic book character. Just start trying to draw it now, even though you'll probably suck at it. And what's gonna happen is you'll probably immediately discover what you don't know. And if you can't tell, just ask others. You know, maybe those observations would look like this, like, oh, the hands look terrible. Well, now you're motivated to learn how to draw hands. Or maybe you're thinking like, ooh, the pose looks too stiff. Well, now practicing gesture drawing maybe is more meaningful for you. Or it could be just like, oh, the perspective is all wrong on this. Well, now maybe you'll actually pay attention during those perspective classes. Compare that to spending 6 months grinding fundamentals in a vacuum, never applying them. You'll forget most of it. And worse, you'll probably get bored and quit. Oh shit. So the strategy would be to choose one thing that you really want to draw, like a character, a scene, whatever, really. Make it your test project. Keep redrawing it as you learn more. You'll see your progress in real time, which hopefully will keep you motivated. And even better, you'll learn exactly what fundamentals you need for your goals. So this is how you stay engaged while building your skills. In my professional opinion, this is the quest that changes everything. Now the final quest, here we are, it's the fundamentals. So these are going to be your core skills, the building blocks of all good art. I'm going to rapid fire through all the base fundamentals so you know exactly what they are and why they matter. Think of these as skill trees that you'll unlock as you work on your project. Perspective makes your 2D drawings feel 3D. Why does stuff look smaller when it's far away? How does foreshortening work? Perspective answers all of that. So you can start with 1-point perspective boxes, then move on to 2-point and 3-point perspective. It seems scary, but really, it's actually one of the easiest fundamentals to grasp. It's one of those things that's hard to master, but really easy to get into. Gesture drawing will give your characters movement and life. It's what makes them not look stiff. So you'll want to draw quick poses in like 1 to 5 minutes max using minimal lines. Think like sophisticated stick figures. This is going to be like cardio, but for artists. So do a little bit, but often, especially if you want to be good at drawing characters. Anatomy is basically learning the building blocks of the human body. So the skeleton, muscles, how they work together. Even if you draw stylized anime characters, you'll need this. Like, don't confuse art style with anatomy knowledge. And you'll be able to practice this by copying from anatomy books, fitness photos, and live drawing sessions. It's really like learning the alphabet for a writer, As character artists, we need to at least learn basic anatomy, all the body parts that make up the body. The next one is color and light theory. Light is what makes everything visible and gives it color. Value is like your shading, going from a flat circle to a sphere. Color theory is about emotional impact and harmony, so start simple. If you want to start coloring your drawings, use complementary colors. Basically 2 colors on the opposite side of the color wheel. Pick one as the dominant color, and at the very least this should make something that doesn't look terrible. Composition next is how you arrange elements in your art. Think of it like text formatting for a book. It helps viewers digest information more easily. So good composition helps guide the eyes, and bad composition confuses it basically. It's like your presentation skill. A very important fundamental, but maybe not as much initially. And then finally you have design, your artistic toolbox. Like how you combine patterns, colors, textures, and shapes to create something aesthetically pleasing. Good design awes and inspires, but bad design repels. Ugh, gross. And when you start with design, I always recommend you study nature for this. It's the best design teacher. And I flew through those, but I have in-depth classes covering each of these fundamentals, so I'll put the links in the description if you want to learn more about them. But for now, just know that these are the skill trees that you'll gradually unlock as you work on your project from Quest 4. So here's your complete beginner blueprint. In Quest 1, you'll find your why, your own personal reason for learning art. In Quest 2, it's all about pen control. So train your hand to do what your brain wants. Otherwise, everything else is going to be much more complicated and frustrating. For Quest 3, it's all about learning about and practicing construction, unlocking 3D thinking by drawing basic forms. For Quest 4, you'll pick your project, start creating what you want now, and learn as you go. And then Quest 5, it's the fundamentals, your skill trees to unlock over time. This is the path I wish someone showed me like 30 years ago when I was starting. And now equipped with this, you'll be able to stop grinding aimlessly, because now you should have direction, purpose, and a clear progression system. Now, I did go over these fundamentals really quickly, but I actually have a whole class dedicated to that you might enjoy, like going over all the fundamentals in detail and also introducing a bunch of different skills, all arranged in like an RPG skill tree to make it easier to visualize. I think it's the perfect continuation to this class, so I'll have it up on screen here in just a second. I'll see you over there.